Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we are sitting down to film a little Q&A. So we asked our private Facebook community and we went through our YouTube comments and some of our comments on Instagram, and we're going to answer them today in this video.
So quickly before we get started, we also wanted to mention that we have extended the enrollment period for Get Glowing Online, so that will actually be closing now on the 5th of November at 5 PM PST, and we also have a very exciting offer for you guys. So we're actually offering the course at 50% off at the moment for the holidays as a little treat. So if you want to find out the details for that course, you can head to the links below in the description box. But that's about all that we wanted to mention before we get started.
So if you want to sign up, it's closing on Sunday, basically. Yeah, and we'll get started on these questions.
So I've got all the questions here on my phone. So the first one that we're going to start with was a YouTube question that we got the other day. So the question was, maybe you guys have already done a video on this, but what are your tips on becoming an intuitive eater? I've always struggled with overeating, and even though I'm not at an unhealthy weight, I have to closely monitor everything I eat, and sometimes feel hopeless that I can one day ever be normal, because whenever I do let myself eat how I want, I always overeat.
Okay, so we do get a few questions about intuitive eating and kind of emotional eating subjects. So I guess our first tip would be to really think about when you're going to eat something, are you feeling actually physically hungry, or are you kind of bored, or
like what's the reason
experiencing some other emotion that you're trying to kind of escape from with the food.
So really being aware of if you're actually hungry, being really connected to those hunger cues, and then being really mindful when you are having a meal. So eating and being aware, do I feel full right now? How does my body feel?
The other thing would be being quite conscious of what's in each meal. You know, perhaps if you're eating a meal that's deficient in fats and protein and you're kind of feeling hungry, or those sort of ups and downs throughout the day, that can definitely cause you to overeat. So if you're really mindful to create meals that have a lot of healthy fats in there and also a good amount of protein, you should, you know, your body gets more in tune with the natural hunger cues, so you'll learn to kind of recognize that and respond to it better, if that makes sense.
I guess my other tip would be like finding another focus for yourself. So for a lot of people, when they get really into the food, you know, whether you're doing paleo or some other kind of diet, you can get very obsessed with the diet and thinking about food all the time. And sometimes I think you just need to kind of develop other interests on the side, so that you're not just spending all day like thinking a lot about like what you can have, what you can't have.
If I think too much about what I can't have, then I want it even more.
Yeah. So our next question is, what are the cheat foods that you occasionally eat?
So this is a question that we got a few times following our supermarket smackdown video. So I think in that video we mentioned that we don't eat like really crappy things like cheesels, but we do have cheat foods that we like, but we don't go that far. So we got a few questions of what do we eat for cheat food, and the first thing I can think of is things like, you know, for parties or like special things, or just if I'm feeling the inclination, I might have something like corn chips or potato chips. I'm pretty picky about trying to find like the most plain, like not Doritos or anything like that, but like chippy, crunchy things I like.
So the corn chips are probably up there. Whenever you go to a party or something, I just bring that with some dip. Other things, maybe like hummus. Like I'm not gonna like break my brain over having some hummus from time to time, or like beans and things like that. It's like,
oh yeah, I eat Mexican food. Like you can go out and you can have,
or sometimes like a corn tortilla even. Oh, every now and then there would be probably like a gluten, dairy-free kind of cake, or like a raw cake, you know, like raw treats, and like gluten-free brownie. But these aren't things that I do like every day, you know, they're on the odd occasion.
Yeah. Oh, and gluten-free pizza is something that we indulge in from time to time. But yeah, these are the things that we kind of have now and again if we're going out, or if we just feel the urge for something special. But
on a daily basis though, do eat chocolate. Some people think that chocolate's like unhealthy, but I'm always going for like really dark chocolate or like a sugar-free one. So I think that's really the big difference between like
I don't even think of chocolate as being bad.
But I think maybe because a lot of the time people are choosing like Cadbury, like the ones that are really high sugar.
Chocolate, no, can't have that. The other thing though is that I feel sad if I eat cheap foods. Like, I'm not very good with like if I eat something that's bad, I feel bad while I eat it and then I feel bad after it. Like, depending on what it is.
It depends what it is. If I eat a gluten-free pizza, I feel pretty good while I'm eating it, but then I feel bad after. But it's not because I'm guilty, it's because I literally, it doesn't feel that good.
It's not that it's guilty, it's just that I know too much. It's like you eat something and you know it's bad. But it depends. Like, if it's like a gluten-free, dairy-free like cake, I'll be okay, but I don't know. If it's something made with like soybean oil, like the whole fun of it's gone.
Yeah.
Like if I eat fried chips out and I know they're made of veggie oil, I'm like, I just feel sad eating.
Feel slight like inner conflict about this. I'm like, But yeah, so those are the main little treats that we like to have. So our next question was, can you do a video about how to heal psoriasis, please?
So I did a recent video on my tips for healing eczema. Now, when it comes to skin conditions, they're all closely linked to our gut health, and so all the tips that I shared about gut and immune system health in that video would be applicable to you. However, the only difference with psoriasis is it is an autoimmune condition, so I suppose you could go a bit further with points maybe from like the autoimmune protocol, so eliminating nightshades and potentially eggs, things like that. But we could do a specific video on it, although neither of us have psoriasis particularly.
So the next question, still another skin related question. Is it okay to have raw honey or coconut sugar while healing from eczema? And I'll let Beck field it.
So no, I wouldn't recommend having coconut sugar in any regard really, other than it's better than straight up cane sugar, but it's still sugar at the end of the day, and sugar feeds into dysbiosis, and when you have eczema you really have a problem there. So I'd be definitely steering away from sugar in all of its forms, and the same really goes for honey. I mean, it would be a better choice than other forms of sugar again, so perhaps if you had just a little tiny amount, like sweetening say tea at night or something like that, but I would definitely not be making say baked treats with coconut sugar or honey.
What are your thoughts on like xylitol and erythritol, like our sugar alcohols? Would you still avoid?
I don't know about those two, but I mean I would be okay with a little bit of stevia. But yeah, generally I just stick away from all the sweets, and you could do a little bit of fruit, like the low sugar fruits, but yeah, I would just avoid like a granulated coconut sugar. It's just like pure refined sugar.
And we all know how things can kind of, you know, turn around, like like with the agave syrup, like it can sound natural but still. Yeah,
and some people do tolerate like erythritol and xylitol quite well, but others don't, given they're like FODMAP foods. So I guess if you do have a dysbiosis, it could be something that doesn't agree with you.
Okay, we'll jump into the next question. So, do you guys use a protein powder? I don't eat dairy and cannot consume whey protein. Yes, we use protein powder. I had a smoothie this morning with protein powder. If you can't tolerate dairy, I definitely just opt for like a pea protein and see how that makes you feel. I think sometimes they also have like the sprouted,
like fermented pea protein. So it's not like technically paleo because it's like peas, but the sprouted is meant to be easier on your digestion. More bioavailable, I suppose. And the other one is the hydrolyzed beef protein, or even the collagen proteins that you can get. They come from beef, or you can get marine collagens as well. So they come from animal sources, but they're not like whey protein, which contains dairy proteins.
So the brands that we like at the moment is the Prana On brand. There's also like Amazonia. I think they do like a paleo fermented protein. So I mean, it's really just trying a few different ones and seeing what you like, seeing what kind of agrees with you and which ones you like the flavour of, because let's be honest, not all of them taste amazing.
I've seen other paleo ones that are made on egg white, but I'm not sure about that idea. I mean, egg white is like one of the most allergenic foods, so I can't see it being the best idea.
Eating it in like a high quantity, like, I don't know. Question mark.
I'd prefer to do the pea protein or the hydrolyzed beef.
What to do about the diet's tendency to create an alkaline state in the body? Is urine pH of 8 a concern? So when it comes to kind of like the acid alkaline theory, we're not super into it.
No.
there's not a lot of really strong evidence to suggest that it's a thing.
In any case, I would have thought that having a alkaline pH of the urine would have been, like, according to that theory, that's a positive thing. So if you do believe in the acid alkaline theory, then I would have thought a pH of 8 would be good. Yeah, we're not huge believers of the acid alkaline theory, but in any case, if you are concerned, it's just a matter of eating more fruits and vegetables. So we are big believers in eating plenty of fruits and vegetables, and the fact that paleo is not about eating high amounts of meat and animal protein.
Kind of balancing it out. When you consider, like, a paleo diet isn't particularly like an acidic diet. It does have meat, but when you contrast that against like the Western diet, which if you do believe in the acid alkaline theory, we're looking at grains, meat and dairy all as being acidic foods, and all our vegetables and fruits and things being alkaline. So if you create a diet, where you're just balancing that out, it's not about never having an acidic food or never having an alkaline food. It's just having the right amount of each together. So our next question for Beck is, are you still on helminth therapy?
Yes, so I mentioned helminth therapy back in my whole story about eczema. So that was a video that I did quite a while ago, but I am still doing helminth therapy, and if you haven't heard of that, it's basically, it's kind of like a type of probiotic or biome restoration therapy, which uses helminths, so it's like a parasite or worm. But they actually use a tiny larvae, which is microscopic and it doesn't grow into anything or anything like that. So it's really just a different type of probiotic, and there's some really exciting research around helminth therapy, and it helps a lot of people that have immune system issues, eczema, all of that. So yeah, I take a dose of the helminth probiotic about every 3 or 4 weeks, and I've been on that for a long time now, probably over 18 months, and I would just continue it because it's healthy, not for any other reason or to treat eczema anymore, but it's just really good to balance out your gut flora, because as humans we would have originally been, in contact with the dirt and all these helminthic organisms that would have been on the surface
like
of foods.
You would have drank stream water or eaten something with dirt on it, and you're likely to ingest a bunch of these little guys. And we always tend to see parasites as like bad, 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 we want to get rid of them. And there's certainly some bad guys out there, but there are some good guys that we know can really help.
Well, they stimulate the immune system and really train up your immune system to be really strong and balanced, because when you have issues with skin conditions like eczema, oftentimes you have quite an imbalanced immune system, and it can really help. So and the company that I go through is called Biome Restoration, so I can leave a link below if you're interested.
So our next question, how would you approach bulking on the paleo diet? Upping carbs and fats as a ratio according to calories, just adding in more carbs or fats, or any other tips?
So by bulking, I assume you mean you're looking to put on muscle and to put on some weight. So I guess our first tip would be, I really struggle with putting on weight, and I know what has worked for me when I'm focused on it. So I would say the first thing is just to make sure that you are eating enough calories as a total. If you're not like a super food orientated person, or you're a bit of a light eater, like I'm a really slow eater, and then I get full really quickly, so then I kind of, overall in the scheme of a day, I could eat too few calories. I think it's really important to actually track them at least for a week and get a good idea of how much you're eating and how much you would have to eat to put on some weight, and then actually visualize how that looks for the whole day, because when I did that I realized that I actually really needed to be getting in, I needed to be getting in a couple of pieces of fruit. I needed to be, getting some fat into my smoothie to up the calories and that kind of thing. So otherwise, I would skip all these little opportunities and it would add up to like 500 calories at the end of the day that I wasn't getting.
Yeah, so you can easily be under eating, and also really considering the intensity of your workouts and how often you're working out. So the two biggies obviously that we would look at increasing if you're looking for muscle mass would be the carbs to match your activity, and then also the protein to support that
muscle growth.
Yeah, muscle growth.
So you could look at, say for a 2,000 calorie diet, going around 100 grams of protein, or like 20% of calories from protein, and perhaps around 30 for carbs, 30% and the rest fat. That would be sort of our general breakdown. But yeah, definitely make sure day in, day out that you are hitting your calorie goal and that you're making sure to get enough carbs, especially on the days that you're working out, and to get adequate protein as well, because our muscles need to be rebuilt, and if you want them to rebuild bigger and stronger, you need to get enough protein.
So that was actually our final question, so thanks so much to everybody who submitted their questions for us. We'll see you all in our next video that should be up over the weekend. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye guys! We're excited to announce that enrollments have reopened for our gut health course, Get Glowing Online.
Inside the course, we guide you step by step through the diet and lifestyle changes that support inner health.
Enrollments close on the 29th of October and won't reopen until 2018. We can't wait to see you there.